Welcome to Solo Marvel Champion if you're new here, and if you're returning, welcome back. In yesterday's video, I talked about the 4-pack challenge, and I built a deck for Wasp using that challenge and a randomizer that I created. Today I'm playing that deck against Expert Morlock Siege. This scenario is not super difficult, even on Expert, but it is highly variable, which I like. You don't know which villain is coming out. So I'm going to shuffle the deck and then shuffle the villains. 1A told us to set Morlocks and a Hide Treachery aside. And then shuffle the villains. It is difficult shuffling a small stack without looking. I said that in the last video. First villain is Harpoon, who has 13 hit points. And he can get he can get overkill or 3 indirect damage. So he is a little bit scary, but kind of good to see as my first one. I know I'm getting him out of the way. So I would like to see Ingenuity early. Honestly, Blocking Bird would be really good on this first turn as well. With that double, I'd really love to see Blocking Bird. Alright, nothing there helps me much. So I'm going to mulligan all of that. 1, 2. Now I'd love to see Nick or Avengers Mansion. Ironheart is okay, and Pinpoint Strike is good. Alright, now I'm going to use Girl ability to shuffle Giant Help. Now I'm going to shuffle a Wasp Sting and Inspiring Presence back into the deck. Now we can flip up. I'm going to go to Tiny. I'm going to start by playing Ironheart, who draws me a card. And there are nothing in there. So let's do 1, 2, 3 for Pinpoint Strike. That's going to deal 8 with Overkill because I'm in Tiny. Nothing to overkill, so 6, 7, 8. Ironheart is going to knock that off, or not knock that off, take 1 damage, deal 1 damage, and I'm going to take that threat off. I'm going to hold on to both of these. I don't need to make the call right now, so I'm only going to hold on to this Power in All of Us. Maria's nice to see and a double to play her, although that Wasp Sting is going to play her. That Wasp Sting is going to play her. That double is going to play Wasp Sting and knock him out. So 1 goes on the main and a knock counter. Guys, the reason I do that when I'm playing is I'm trying to talk fast enough to make it entertaining while still talking about stuff. So I apologize. Sometimes I'll say a thing too quickly and not mean what I say. He's attacking. Now, the options I have are take 3 indirect damage, or he gets an additional face down card and overkill. I'm going to take the 3 indirect damage, and I'm going to take it all on myself so that he doesn't get overkill, and Ironheart is going to block. Now, he still could get overkill because there's a boost card in here that does that, but 3, only 3, and I lose in advance, which is nice. 1 encounter card. This only has 3. Because there's nothing under routed. Okay. Trying to decide here if I flip up. I want to have Maria as a blocker, but if I flip up and use Pim Particles, I can recover or heal with Pim Particles. But Wasp Sting does more damage in Alter Ego. Not in Alter Ego, in Tiny. Doesn't matter. I only need it to do 4, and 4 will knock him out. So, I'm going to flip up to Giant. And I'm going to do 1, 2, which heals me 2, for Maria, who draws me a card. That actually helped quite a bit. I'm going to thwart 2 here and play Get Ready, because I'm getting ready to get attacked by another villain. I might leave that for just a moment. And actually, I'll be able to take both off with that. Now I'm going to use Genius to play Wasp Sting, and Giant, it deals 4 damage. So that knocks out Harpoon. He goes under Routed. We get Riptide, who has 12 hit points, and she would gain Piercing, which I don't care about yet, but I will soon. So I'm just going to give her that +2 attack and Piercing, and Maria blocks. It's 4/5, and Maria is gone. Then I can thwart 2 and spread it among 2 different schemes. So thwart 1 there and thwart 1 there. And that's gone. I'm going to ready and draw 5, and I have 3 defense, which isn't terrible. Make the call. 1, 2 for Maria, who draws me a card. Unless that's a double, that's not good. Okay, 1 goes on the main and a knock counter. Place 3 on the main and 1 on each side scheme. And then she's only attacking for 2. I'm not sure that's such a bad idea. But also, I'm just going to do the +4 with ranged and piercing and defend. So the attack is 4, 5. I've defended for 3, so I take 2. I get 1 encounter card and hope it's not an attack. Give the villain a tough status. Place threat on the main equal to the number of villains under Routed. There's 1 under. Riptide gets a tough. That changes what I want to do. That means I'm not necessarily too keen to play Pinpoint Strike this turn. So let's make the call 1, 2, and that heals me 2 for Maria Hill. When she enters play, she draws me a card. And here's the thing. If that ends up being a double, it's not. Means I can't play either of them this turn. I don't need to remove that threat. Also, I kind of like to keep her as a blocker. I won't need her as a blocker because I'm going to get 2 Morlocks with tough. So she's going to attack for 1 and knock off. Although, he's just going to get a tough again because I don't want him having piercing. So I might not even do that with her. So he can keep his tough. Oh, he didn't get a tough. Oh, he got a tough from that. I was like, too far ahead in my head. All right. I think I'm just going to use her to block. And I only care about keeping Pinpoint Strike. If I'd had a double there, I would be able to play Nick as well. 1 goes on and a 3rd knock counter. That knock counter makes us go to 2A. We get 2 Morlocks and shuffle Hide into the deck. And because that advanced with knock counters, I give them each a tough. Now the piercing does matter. This flips up. So I am going to block with Maria. Even though she's attacking Morlocks instead of me, I'm going to block it with Maria. So she's attacking for 4 with ranged and piercing. 5. Maria block. I said she was going to block, even though I didn't exhaust her. Now I get 1 encounter card. Vertigo has guard and 4 hit points. That pinpoint strike is now only going to knock off Riptide's tough. And what I'm considering playing Nick, even though I lose cards, because I could just have him knock her out. He attacks Riptide and takes 2, a piercing, or not a piercing, a retaliate and a consequential. Then I can attack for 2 more, taking 2 damage myself. And then that sets up a future pinpoint strike. So I am going to do that. Pay 4. I'm not going to draw cards with him. I'm going to have him deal 4 to Vertigo. Then he attacks for 2 to knock off the tough. He takes retaliate from the routed, from the villain. Routed gives the villain retaliate 1. And then I take a consequential. Then we're going to do that again with me. I attack for 2. Take 1 damage from retaliate. And I'm considering flipping down to alter ego. No, because I've got a blocker right now. Make the call. Well, there's a pinpoint strike, so that set me up for that. 1 goes on. He's attacking for 4 with piercing, and Nick blocks. 4, 5. That gives him overkill. So the attack is 5 with overkill, so he takes 1, and I take 4, taking me down to 5. Gets 1 encounter card. +2 attack and retaliate 2. That's not going to matter because I'm going to play pinpoint strike and knock him out. So I'm going to flip down to tiny, because when I'm tiny, pinpoint strike deals 8. It's going to deal 8 to Riptide, knock Riptide out. This goes away. And I take no retaliate because it defeated Riptide. Chimera has 14 and makes an immediate attack. 2, nothing special, +4, attacking a Morlock. So she is 4, 5, 6, and just knocks that tough off. And then I am going to just thwart that 1 off. Going to hold on to that, make the call, because Nick in there will be very handy. It's ready, but there's Mockingbird, who is even more handy, especially with that double. But I could make the call for Nick, draw 3 cards, and still play Mockingbird. 1 goes on the main, attacking for 4, attacking this one. 4, 5, just knocks off that tough. 1 encounter card. This has 5. So now I'm going to make the call. 1, 2, 3, 4. For Nick, I'm going to have Nick draw me 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Nick is going to thwart 2 here. This guy is going to thwart 1. Let's do 1, 2, 3 for Mockingbird. Mockingbird stuns and takes 1 off of here. And then I take 1 off of here. When I take that 1 off, her ability says, after Wasp defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. I don't take retaliate from that. So now I'm ready. Let's get some attack events. I mean, Ant-Man can be good. 1 goes on, she cannot attack. Riptide, who has patrol, and I'm not going to be able to deal. I'm not going to be able to knock her out. So I do want to deal with Riptide. The only things I have in my hand to do that is Ant-Man. And I think we kind of do what we did last time. She attacks for 1. He attacks for 2. And I attack for 1, which knocks her out. And because I knocked out a minion, Chimera takes a damage. And since I have Mockingbird to block, I'm going to have these guys each clear this in case I get an advance, because I am going to get 2 encounter cards. 1, there's a Wasp Sting. I'd love to see pinpoint accuracy or pinpoint strike here. Pinpoint strike. Hawkeye, Pim Particles, Inspiring Presence. Okay. 1 goes on the main. She's attacking for a bunch and Mockingbird blocks. There is no overkill. That's 6 and Mockingbird is gone. I get 2 encounter cards. Blockbuster, who has guard, that's inevitable. And this thing, which has 6, and I attack this because it has assault. Yeah, that's inevitable. I knew I was going to get a guard getting this close to the end. I'm not salty about it, can you tell? Let's do... see. Chimera has retaliate, but Blockbuster doesn't. So I think, and I could use the healing as well. Let's go up to Giant. I'm going to end up losing a little bit of damage here, but that's fine. When I'm in Giant form, Ant-Man has +1 attack. So he attacks for 3, and I attack for 2 and knock him out. Then this, which heals me 2, 3 for pinpoint strike, deals 7. That's 6, 7. I do take retaliate 2, but he's set up, or she's set up for me to defeat her with Wasp Sting. So let's ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 goes on the main. She's attacking for 4. Only 4. Ant-Man is gone. 1 encounter card. Surgeon Reveal. Villain attacks me. And if there's villains under routed, it gets overkill. So I have to defend for 3. And can I afford to spend 2 mental? No, because that would be my Wasp Sting. That's not true. I could afford to spend 2 mental. Because if I pay those 2 mental, I heal 2, and I'm defending, and on my turn I can play Miles Morales, who can attack for 4, and then a Morlock can knock Chimera out without taking the retaliate. So I will, on this attack, defend and spend 2 mental. When I play this mental, I heal 2. And the attack is only 2, 3, and it gains overkill. So it would have gained overkill anyway. Total attack was 3, so I take no damage. Next encounter card, the villain attacks me. I can't spend the resources. It's not going to be overkill, so we're going to have that Morlock block, and we're going to lose 1. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. I do lose a Morlock, which isn't terrible. That gives me a -1. That's victory -1. And I still have a Morlock. If I lose this Morlock, I lose the game. But I'm not going to lose the game because I'm going to pay 2, 3 for Miles Morales. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, choose thwart or attack. He gets +2 to the chosen power until the end of the phase. I'm going to give him +2 attack. He attacks for 4. He takes 2 retaliate, and then a consequential, and is knocked out. This Morlock attacks for 1, knocks out Chimera, doesn't take retaliate, and takes a consequential. She goes under routed, and I now have 3 villains under routed, so I win the game. So that is at least some vindication for my last Wasp game that I just played her really poorly. I think the big lesson I learned was instead of shuffling Nick and, Moon Girl, which isn't in this deck, and other cards that let me draw cards back into the deck with Girl, I was just shuffling my attack events back into the deck, hoping to draw those. So that was a 4-pack challenge Wasp against Expert Morlock Siege. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me what I missed. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.